And since we don't have too much time, I did make a list of pros and cons. And I know some of you hear me say pros and you think, what, are you crazy? You know, I'm one of those people that takes everything into consideration. That doesn't mean that I'm not upset. That doesn't mean that I'm not angry. Alderwoman Garza gave a great presentation. All of those landfills that they have up there, it's terrible. And I feel your anger. I am a 10th Ward resident. My husband's family, we're all 10th Ward. We all, with the exception of one brother, we all live here. So if anyone questions my motives, I just want you to know that. Since you're only giving us till May 5th, what I would like to see from Alderwoman Garza's office, from the Southeast Environmental Task Force, from the Coalition to ban pet coke, I would like to see what areas you're proposing. We have time is of the essence, so please put it on your websites, let us know. Tonight is about, if you don't want it here, give us someplace where you do want it. So give us some ideas of what you guys are thinking, your organizations. Let us know so that we can voice our opinions on May 5th. That's Saturday, correct? Mm-hmm. I'm not hearing that. So please consider that, let us know what you're thinking. Don't just tell us we don't want it here, because they're giving us an opportunity to voice our opinion, and that is important.
2 minutes have expired.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next up, Marie Collins Wright. Following her will be Kenneth Newman, and then next after Kenneth will be Samuel Crow. So Marie, go to the next person. Would you like to wait to be later? Okay, very good. So Kenneth Newman, please.
Hi, I'm a resident of the South Side, Hyde Park, but I've known this area, especially Calumet Park, since I was a kid, fishing, going to day camp there. I've known about the contamination of the area from landfills for many decades. I knew people that worked at U.S. Steel. I am very, very concerned about the residents here getting their fair share of clean air, clean land, and having good recreational sports facilities. I am very, very concerned that the landfills here are not being put to their best use, and perhaps using the landfills for a lot more athletic facilities will also make a positive impact both on the youth and the adults and also economically. I think some of these landfills should eventually become ski runs. They should be used for soccer fields and other athletic facilities. And I definitely feel that the dredging, the sludge, whatever you want to call it, is taken out. While it needs to be cleaned, if it's going to be placed in some sort of incinerator cleaning factory that could also negatively impact the environment in this community, then it doesn't need to be in this community. It needs to be taken away and either brought back.
2 minutes have expired.
Okay, well anyway, I hope to see positive outcomes for the youth and adults on the recreational side of it.
Very good, thank you. Okay, next is Samuel Corona, and then following him will be Peggy Salazar, and then Amelia will be on deck. Okay, Samuel, when you're ready.
All right, my name is Samuel Corona. I am the lead organizer for RISE, and I am speaking on behalf of our over 4,000 members and saying we don't want this in our community. You told us about this is about transparency. I was at the stakeholder meetings, and I was never given any type of reports or anything like that. The most times that we ever went to these meetings, we were given no more than 5 sheets of paper. Now, I can't see any type of information that can be so compacted that I can receive everything that you have been doing in the last 2.5 years. Since 2015, you have been looking at placement of a CDF down our throats, right? And the sad reality is had you have actually stuck to your 10-year time frame in the first CDF, we would not be having this problem. It would be going down to work. But we don't have that problem. We don't have that ability anymore. Because we were valued as a dumping ground, you decided to, let's extend it more and let's see how long we can make this thing last, right? And now we get the fortunate of being the only ward in the city of Chicago that has, what, 8 landfills, 1 Superfund site, possible Superfund site, 1 CDF, and another CDF coming down our throats. So, I mean, I'm glad we're fortunate enough to be receiving these great things from us. You know, and one thing I will tell you is, if you take a walk down the, if you take a boat ride down the
10
Calumet
minutes have
River.
expired.
All right.
Okay, next, Peggy Salazar, Amelia, and then Martin Downs after that.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me. Before you tell them 2 minutes, give them a little warning, you know, that was real cold, because, you know, in 2 minutes are up. You know, you have to walk up. Tell them, you know, you got 10 seconds, 15 seconds.
And that's what the slides are for. The slides do count it down. If you watch, it'll give them a 15-second warning. And that way I'm not bothering, but I can give them a warning on that. They can make a concluding statement. That's fine. When you're ready, go ahead.
Okay, everybody, my name is Peggy Salazar. I'm with the Southeast Environmental Task Force, but more importantly, I'm a lifelong resident of the Southeast Side. So I definitely care about what goes on here and what hasn't gone on here in terms of redevelopment and changing over from old industry to modern industry. In any case, I'm going to reiterate 2 of the Alderwoman's points because I think they're very important. The Colonel said that the Army Corps is in the business of removing pollution. Well, I would say you're wrong because here you're relocating the pollution. You're going to be entombing it in a mound of clay for how many generations to come. That's not taking care of the problem, and that's not removing the pollution. The second point was that we will be hosting 2 CDFs. I believe we're the only community that has to do that. Nowhere else is that being done. So once again, we are the only community expected to host 2 CDF sites, okay? So as you know, my solution again is, and I'm going to reiterate my point, treat this with technology, clean up the dredging so that they can be reused in a useful way. Do not entomb something for generations to come.
15 seconds.
Okay, so you tell me that there is no technology since the rivers have begun to be dredged and since the 80s even, okay? You can't tell me they could invent the smartphone and nobody could come up with a way of treating these dredgings. I highly doubt it. I think you just don't want to spend the money and you need to. We're not going to accept that as an excuse or a reason or even a criteria. Thank you.
Send a man to the moon, but you can't clean this up.
All right, next up, Amelia, and I'm going to have a hard time with the last name on this one, so it is Amelia Nato. She did leave? Okay, all right, we'll skip that. And then Martin Downs is next, followed Linda Ruxton, and then after that, Thomas Frank. So Martin, when you're ready, go ahead.
My name is Martin Downs. I'm 23. I've lived in the Headfish for my entire life. And since I've only got 2 minutes, I'll make 2 quick points. The first is that the original CDF was supposed to be for 10 years, got extended another 20, so it's 30 years, and 20 more years we'll be able to use it. So that's 50 total years. So when I hear that, oh, this site will only exist for a limited time, I don't really believe that. Especially when they're only asking for 30 acres, but a lot of these sites are 150 acres. And so when time comes, oh, this is full, we'll just use more of the land that we have. So we're looking, you can extend that for many, many, many more years. And so that's really what worries me. What that'll do to property taxes. No, it's mentioned that once what the added pollution is going to do to our property taxes once this gets added here. Another note is that it said, as long as these activities don't disturb the cap, we can use them. And no one's talking about what happens if the caps are disturbed. Because our Army Corps of Engineering isn't going to be in charge of that. That's the city of Chicago. And I haven't gotten an answer yet about what that process would look like. Jennifer, I think if someone's here, I'm supposed to talk to her. And then my second point is that a lot of these site selections talk about isolation sites. Nothing in the city is isolated. A lot of these sites that are isolated are 3 blocks away from homes, from streets, busy streets, where people live and play and work. And so if you're going to put a site there, I want you
15 seconds.
to go into every single home, every single community, not with an email or a phone or a flyer, and to talk to each and every one of these people and tell them what you're putting 3 blocks away from.